Hi guys, it's me Lunar, welcome back to another episode of brand new console mods for Skyrim Special Edition on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Today is episode 181 already, and we only have 2 PS4 mods today and 5 for Xbox One, as there were so little mods out right now, especially for PS4. Before we start, don't forget to like and comment, and we can just jump straight to mod number 1. Our first mod adds into Skyrim a new type of magic spell that occupies the lesser power slot, so you use it like a shout. The power summons these magic squares that do destruction magic to nearby enemies, the damage being calculated as 5 destruction times 0.1 per 1.2 seconds over 24 seconds, and that's per square. Each time you use the spell though, you will summon between 4 and 12 squares depending on the magicka, so the damage you actually do will depend on loads of different things. Each square costs 20 magicka to summon. The spell is a bit overpowered against one enemy or two, but if you have lots to fight it's not as effective, but it is a lot of fun to use and a good idea. Our next mod is called RuneScape Content Pack, and this mod adds into Skyrim a few things based on the game. The mod is still a work in progress, but here is what the mod adds so far. A new vendor, the wise old man who lives in Drayla's cottage in Whiterun Hold. A new spell which is being added is called Ice Barrage, and it's sold by the wise old man. A new dungeon, the Edgeville dungeon, which is from RuneScape, is found in north of Whiterun, filled with respawnable hill giants. You need the brass key that the old man sells to get in, and in the dungeon you can sell the giants big bones for cash, or you can train your combat skills. The location includes music straight out of the old school RuneScape game, and if you're looking for the brass key as well, sometimes he doesn't sell it, but you can steal it from him, or sometimes it's been added to the table next to him. Next up, we have a simple mod called Guards and Stormcloaks Don't Wear Helmets, and you guessed it, the mod does what it says and removes helmets from guards and soldiers in the game. Other NPCs are not affected, only the guards and soldiers throughout Skyrim have their helmets removed. Our next two mods are both new sword mods. The first is called Mithrodin Blade, and the story goes that the great dark elf warrior and master blacksmith Tukal forged the Mithrodin, which means sword mother in ancient Erlental, from a mysterious lump of molten ore. Christened and awakened by the blood of his enemies, the sword was to be Tukal's greatest blade. The sword comes in one-handed and two-handed versions, requires the steel smithing perk, and you need silver ingots and leather strips in order to craft it under the miscellaneous category, and in terms of damage the weapons are just slightly better than Daedric and can be refined and enchanted. The next mod offers a new HD version of the famous sword Hadhafang from Lord of the Rings. The sword means Throng Cleaver, was a sword once belonged to the elven prince Idril, who wed a mortal man, Tuar, and bore Erendal, the father of Elrond, who in turn was father to Arwen, of course. Hadhafang was wielded by Elrond during the battle between the last alliance of elves and men and the forces of the Dark Lord Sauron on the slopes of Mount Doom. Many years later, his daughter Arwen uses the sword when she aids Frodo in his escape from the Ringwraiths. The blade is inscribed with Cirth runes in Sindarin that say Aen Estar Hadhafang, Akathal Hen Thand Arodan I Thang an I Arwen, which translates to this blade is called Hadhafang, a noble defense against the enemy throng for a noble lady. In Sindarin, Arwen actually means noble or royal woman. So the sword is craftable under the elven category, of course. It requires leather strips, 3 gold ingots and 3 steel ingots in order to make it. And for damage it is the same or slightly more than a Daedric one-handed sword, and it can be refined and it can be enchanted. One thing to note about the enchantment is that the inscription on the blade is written in the enchantment slot. So you might think that you cannot enchant this weapon, and some weapons that you get, modded ones especially, come with some writing in the enchantment slot, and they do actually have an enchantment on them and you can't see what the enchantment is, of course, because it just has writing, but this mod can be double enchanted despite the enchantment slot having the text of the inscription of the blade on it. So keep that in mind, you can enchant this blade if you want to, although if you do, you cannot see what the enchantments are. It doesn't change the text that you see written on the blade. When you were captured crossing into Skyrim, your equipment was taken whilst you were unconscious. As the cart you were on passed into Helgen, you saw your armor and weapons taken into the keep. To recover your equipment, you must find a way into the keep. The mod adds a set of light armor, iron sword and dagger. The items can be found in the warden's chest inside Helgen Keep. The weapons and armor offer an alternative to Imperials or Stormcloaks as you escape from Helgen. The items can be improved on the sharpening wheel and armor's workbench as appropriate, as they are just regular weapons and armor. Our final mod is called Divine People of Skyrim. With the mod, over 300 NPCs have been given facelifts in accordance to their lore, disposition, location, profession, and or story. So here is a list of some of the changes that the mod makes. Some blacksmiths have their dirt splattered removed and given more realistic smudges, or over the top of some of the dirt splatters as well. NPCs with war paint who had no reason to have war paint, such as maids in the palace, were removed. Awkward shaped jaws, nose, lips have been normalized, but no one is perfect, of course. Some NPCs have their weights adjusted, custom heights for specific NPCs in accordance to race and lore. Logical changes from the USS EP carried over, such as dead body cleanup scripts, the wrong race, and our missing house keys. Zero custom skins, so your skin and body mesh choices are also given to the NPCs, which makes shopping easier. So this mod really only customizes faces pretty much of NPCs, so it shouldn't clash with other body and texture replacers. Battleborns now look like family. Farkas and Vilkas both share similar shaped jaws but slightly different noses to show familial relationships. Serana and Valerica have slight facial changes and updated hair. Beards change to look nicer. Many handlebar moustaches have changed to a more lore-friendly alternative. Orosmer folks are slightly more pleasing to look at but retain their fierceness. Mjol's face paint altered. Having war paint over a scar would look terrible and would cause skin aggravation, so the mods tried to make that a bit more immersive. Yensa's face paint has a new colour option, a nice blue instead of that garish yellow. Tari and Endari are both more radiant. They look like sisters. Tari has her own hairstyle as befitting a potential partner. Plus there's many more changes as well. Overall though, an awesome mod worth downloading, and I think I'm definitely going to keep this one installed, as I guess it does make some of the NPCs look more pleasing. One of the big things that it does change for me is that for some reason I've always had a face glitch with Ayla the Huntress, and I have no idea why, but this mod seems to remove that, so I'm going to keep that installed. Well guys, there we have it, 6 or 7 brand new console mods for you to download and check out for yourself if you like the look of them in today's video. I want to thank all of you for watching, and I'll be back again very soon with more videos, including mods, guides, and news every single day. If you want to keep up to date with all my latest stuff, click on the subscription button on screen, and if you haven't done so yet, click the little bell thing next to the subscription button on my channel to join the notification squad. Also on screen, check out some cool links, including some amazing videos, the link to my second channel, and of course my Patreon, where you can support my content and help me break away from those YouTube ads. Follow me on Twitter to get the latest updates about upcoming videos every single day. You can also ask me any questions there, and I will try to answer them as quick as possible. Anyway guys, with all that being said, stay awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.